The beep of the scanner echoed like thunder in the grocery store's hum. A line stretched behind the register, restless and tired. At the front stood a man, rugged, unshaven, with tired eyes that tried to mask his panic. His daughter, no older than 7, clutched a loaf of bread to her chest like it was treasure card declined. The cashier said softly, almost apologetically. A flush crept up the man's neck. He tried again. Same response. People shifted behind him. One woman sighed loudly, another checked her watch. The man swallowed hard, reaching for another card, then froze. He already knew the single dad's grocery store card had declined, and he couldn't even afford dinner for the one person who still believed he was a hero. Whispered to his daughter, "Maybe not today, sweetheart." Her eyes didn't tear up. She just nodded and hugged the bread tighter. But before he could leave, the cashier paused, looked at him, and did something no one expected. What she did next shocked everyone. Just 6 months ago, Daniel wore a suit to work and kissed his wife goodbye with coffee in hand. But now, the suit was gone, the marriage a memory, and the mornings began before sun. Rizzi brewed instant coffee in silence while his daughter, Lily, slept curled on the pull-out couch they shared. He'd tuck a note into her lunchbox, silly doodles or crooked hearts, before hurrying to his first job at the hardware store. By evening, he delivered food with weary eyes and sore feet. Yet every night, no matter how exhausted, he'd read her the same bedtime story, voicing each character with care, because she still laughed like it was the first time and never complained. He couldn't afford to. His world had shrunk to one small girl and a fragile hope that tomorrow might hurt a little less. Daniel didn't feel like a hero, but Lily saw one every single day. The grocery store felt warm and familiar, with the smell of fresh bread drifting from the bakery and the distant cry of a restless toddler echoing through the aisles. Fluorescent lights buzzed faintly overhead, flickering just enough to be noticed. Carts rattled, conversations blended, and life moved with ordinary rhythm. Yet in the middle of this everyday chaos stood Daniel, carrying a storm only he could feel, a quiet desperation that made the busy world around him feel painfully far away. Daniel held his breath as he slid the second card across the counter. The beep came again, sharp, final, decline. There shifted. Behind him, the line stretched and stiffened. A woman in a designer coat let out an audible scoff. Someone muttered, seriously, under their breath. Daniel avoided their eyes. He reached for his wallet, fingers trembling, knowing there was nothing left in it but a faded library card and a photo of Lily. The cashier hesitated. She was young, maybe 20, with chipped nail polish and a nervous glance that flicked to the manager standing by the customer service desk. He was watching, arms folded, jaw set. Daniel turned to his daughter, forcing a tight smile. "We'll come back later," he whisperedly, tugged gently at his sleeve, eyes wide. "Daddy, are we not getting dinner?" The words landed like stones in his chest. He couldn't answering that moment. Surrounded by groceries and strangers, Daniel felt smaller than he ever had. Not because he was poor, but because he couldn't shield his daughter from the weight of it. Daniel lowered his eyes, ashamed to meet anyone's gaze. His chest tightened, breath caught somewhere between his throat, and Hardy promised her tonight would be special. Lily had aced her spelling test, drawn him a picture of a house they might live in someday. She'd been so brave, never once complaining. Even when dinner was just toast and jam, she's been so brave, he thought. And this is what I give her. Began to gather the groceries, apples, bread, a small carton of milk, placing them back into the cart with trembling hands. "I'm sorry," he mumbled, voice barely above a whisper. Couldn't look at the cashier. He couldn't even look at Lily. Daniel turned the cart to leave, trying to make himself invisible, when the beep of a scanner stopped him in his tracks. She turned back. The cashier had her own card in her hand. She'd already scanned it, groceries being bagged, receipt printing. Gavrian froze. "I've got it," she said quietly, not for praise, just as fact. No one should ever have to apologize for feeding their child. For a second, no one spoke. Even the scoffing woman behind him was silent. The only sound was the soft crinkle of the grocery bags as Lily reached inside, pulling out her bread like it was a birthday gift. Manager started walking over, face hard with disapproval, but the cashier didn't flinch. She stood straight, eyes locked on Daniel's. It's taken care of. You're good to go. Daniel's lips parted, but no words came. Just a nod, deep, overwhelmed, grateful beyond language. If you believe in quiet heroes like her, share this moment. Someone's small act could be someone else's saving. Received manager stepped in, voice sharp. Emily, we don't allow personal transactions at the register. You know that. She didn't back down. Then take it from my paycheck. Or fire me. But I'm not letting a dad go home empty-handed. Silence thickened around them. Daniel stood frozen, groceries in hand, daughter at his side. Ethan, from the back of the line, a slow clap broke the stillness. A middle-aged man in a flannel jacket nodded firmly. About time someone did the right thing. Another person joined in. Then another woman who had scoffed earlier glanced down, face flushed, suddenly very interested in her phone. The cashier didn't smile or bask in attention. She simply returned to her station, eyes calm. Heart steady. Moment wasn't loud, but it was powerful. Kindness had taken center stage, and for once, judgment had no place to stand. A week later, during a quiet afternoon shift, Emily found something nestled in her tip. Large, folded piece of construction paper, decorated with glittery stickers and bold crayon lines. Inside was a drawing, a little girl's sketch of a smiling cashier, complete with a superhero cape and the words, "Thank you for feeding us." Emily held it in her hands, tears rising fast. She tucked it gently into her apron pocket, a keepsake of courage, kindness, and quiet heroism. Next time Daniel entered the store, something was different. People nodded, a few smiled, someone even held the door. Wasn't invisible anymore. At the cashier, Emily greeted him with quiet warmth, her cape now a drawing taped near her register. A small act had restored a man's dignity and reminded a whole community how to care. What would you have done if you were in that line? Have you ever witnessed quiet kindness like this? Share this story and remind the world that small moments matter.